Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, I'm joined by Donnie V, and he'll talk all about his new solo song, as well as his plans to tour and support this new music. Donnie also shares with us some stories about working with Chips Enuff, as well as his time in Enuff's Enough. Donnie also talks about what it's like helping people who suffer from anxiety, as well as what it was like working with Howard Stern. So there's lots of things to cover in this episode. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So let's jump in and let's get started. Let's just start, Donnie. First off, I want to say thank you for joining the show today. And, the last year and a half has been pretty tough on everybody. Pandemic, COVID, etc. How's the last year and a half been for you?
Really hasn't changed my program whatsoever,
That's
It's
cool.
business as usual. And I wasn't out touring. I was getting ready to go out touring, not quote unquote touring, but playing, performing, and putting the band together and starting to rehearse it and stuff. And then booked a couple of shows and they were selling pretty well. And then the COVID hit and, it's just everything got canceled. As far as releasing things, I had a release of this next song that I'm releasing. Originally was going to release it. It'd be right when the COVID came. And so I knew that wasn't, the song's called Party Time. So I knew it wasn't the right time to release it. And what ended up happening is we ended up, it's to make a long story short, an old friend popped back into my life and he just happened to be shooting movies and stuff like that. So it's like, needless to say, we put together a pretty cool video and it came out really well. And so I recut the song. I recut Party Time to be as good as the video. You know what I mean? It was
Sure.
And it came out much, much better. I got the guy from Jellyfish playing on it. I got Chip even playing on bass on it. And the video is great. And so I bought back all of my records during this summer, all of my records from these shitty labels that didn't do shit with them. They're out of print, hard to find stuff. I bought those all back with a little chunk I got from another label. And so I stopped and I've fucking held it back maybe over a year now. And now it's time. Now we hired a really good promotional company, and we're doing it on our own this time. It's stupid to go with these small labels. Nothing against them, but they have nothing to offer.
I agree. So there's a couple of things you touched on there that I want to elaborate. So first off, to me, when I hear the song Party Time, I'm like, you can't find a more perfect song title for what we just went through in the last year and a half. I think people feel like, hey, it's party time. So it's interesting, though, that you're saying you actually wrote it prior to pandemic, it sounds like, right?
I've had this idea in my head probably for 20 years. Just
oh, wow.
I've had that part in my head, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to call it. It's been a bunch of different things, and it just didn't come together right. And, when they don't do that, I put them back in the pile and dig them out later. And that one just one day came when I was demoing the Beautiful Things record. And I got a big wave of songs at that time. And this one came in that batch. And a lot of people around me, like my producer and stuff like that, were like, it's cheesy. I'm saying, I don't think you're understanding what I'm seeing here, where the beauty of this is. No, it's not my best song, but it's my most commercially marketable song, and it's an anthem. I mean, you can't get to the chorus faster than you get to the chorus on this song.
Right.
And, and I've noticed I played it for a bunch of people, and like older people, even the young kids today, they love it. Everybody loves it. And how are you going to argue with it's party time? have a good time, you know?
Exactly. And like I said, that's what people are looking for. Now, how do you measure success these days? Putting out a new song in 2021. It's not like it was when you first came on the scene. Gold, platinum albums meant success. How do you measure success with something like this today?
You're best off not trying to measure your success, you know, but exposure. Somebody taught me a while ago I used to measure myself and rank myself according to my bank account. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that. And good important person taught me to that's not what it's all about, and built up my confidence. And ever since then, I've been, you know, going full force, and maybe even got too confident there for a while. But if it reached somebody out there and it did what I intended it for it to do, if it lightened the load, if it made somebody happy, if it had some effect on people, even if it's, you know, a handful of people, that's success as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm an artist, not a famous rock star, you know?
Yeah, no, I love that answer. Absolutely love it. Yeah. And you mentioned, you know, the song's coming out. I think it's this week. It's coming out. It's being released. And you mentioned that you have the video as well. When can we expect to see the video?
Oh, they didn't give it to you yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I've heard the song, but I haven't seen the video.
I thought everybody was going to get serviced with it.
Unless I missed it. I didn't see it.
Maybe you'll get it right after the premiere.
Excellent.
What were you asking?
When is it going to premiere for everybody else to see?
Oh, I think the 15th.
Okay, nice.
Isn't that Friday or
this
something?
Friday. Yep.
It's a good day to party time.
I think so. What better day than Friday, right?
I think you're gonna like it. It's a really well made video, and it's not your typical guys get up there and lip sync a song and shit like that. There's a lot going on, and it's got storyboard, and I play Batman. And
oh wow, okay,
kind of a Rat Man version, you know, like a degenerate Batman, but we got the real Batmobile in there. Oh wow. My drummer Greg, he plays Robin. He looks just like Robin, and I had a really good team. We put this together. You know, we did the walking up the wall scene and all this stuff. We had got Catwoman in it, Joker in it, Riddler in it. So the guy Richie played a thug. He just died last week. So sorry, Richie. And my little niece, Maddie, is in it. She plays Batgirl. Man, she steals the whole fucking thing, you know.
That's awesome.
Between her and Enrique, my mom's dog, Enrique, he's this little guy about this big. I got him, he had a Robin costume, like Batman and Robin. So he's on the video in the sidecar, you know, and it's a funny video. It's when you see it, you'll notice that I don't take myself seriously when it comes to shit like that. I used to try to take myself seriously, but you know, when you do that, you just leave yourself open for nothing but bullets. You know what I mean? Just
right, sure.
Yeah, so now I put it all out there, you know, hey, I'm a turd, you know, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You know, what are you going to say about me now?
Right.
Did I burn that house down? Allegedly, you know.
That's great. That's great. Well, it sounds like a fun video, and I'm sure the fans are going to absolutely love it. Right. So you mentioned before that Chip was on this song playing bass. So did you guys actually see each other get together? Was this done, you know, through email and recording the way some people do it these days?
That's how we did the recording. He makes a cameo in the video.
Oh, nice.
My bass player came down with lymphoma, and he wasn't able to make the shoot. He was really sick, and I'm thinking, who else do I know, you know, that plays bass? And I was just thinking, well, there's only one guy I know that really know that personally that plays the bass that I have his number. So I asked him, and of course he said, sure, he'll come on up there, and you know, he shot the video. I figured there's enough fans would like to see that, you know, and he does good. He's Chip's enough, you know what I mean? Chip's enough in the video, you know, but as far as the recording and stuff goes, you know, a lot of that, most of the time nowadays, unless you're in a studio or something, are guys sending in their tracks, and, you know, and it's cool for the you know, for the convenience and for the situation. You're able to do this stuff with guys that are even on the other side of the world, you know what I mean? But you're not able to be there with the guy and like, hey, do this or that and stuff like that. And so you got to make sure you get the guys like the pros, you know what I mean? And,
Absolutely.
and these guys know more than I know. So, you know, they did the job. They got a really good job. And Mike Tholen, of course, mixed it, and it sounds really good. I think you'll like it. Have you heard the song yet?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It sounds,
Okay.
Party Time is a great song. Time to party.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you know,
You liked it? You liked it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I thought it was
Okay.
very catchy.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting though, as you were talking before, you said it's not your best song, but it's your most catchy song, or most, you know, pop type song that could translate over the radio. What would you say is your best song you've ever written then?
Oh shit, that's hard. It's like trying to say if you got a bunch of children, which one's your favorite? You know I mean, it's kind of there's you know, there's enough songs. There's my solo songs. There's ones that mean a lot to me. You know, it certainly ain't Fly Michelle. Their new thing. Those aren't my best songs. But,
okay.
I try to make my best song the next song I write and record.
Awesome.
I always try to do that. I kind of step it up and keep evolving. And I don't know if you know anything about me and you look at my whole repertoire, you're not going to find too much shit in there. You know what I mean? Right. As far as I'm concerned, as far as my fans tell me, said just no fillers, no garbage. And that's because I'm still hungry and I'm still an artist and I'm not looking to be rich and famous. I'm creating this because it's the expression. It's my job. It's what God and all of the powers that be work through me, and I'm a conduit, and it's my job not to fuck it up. You know what I mean? It's my job to do it and put it together and stuff. So my there's a couple. There's one. It's called My Love. That it's one of my favorites. It's on the White Album. I like. What else do I like? I like a bunch of them. You know, there's That's What Love Is was a good one on my first solo record. Enough's Enough. I like Dissonance.
Okay.
Dissonance and you know, there's a ballad on there, Joni Lynn. There's a lot of good songs, you know what I mean? It's just personally for me, it's really hard to tell. What's your favorite song?
So I would say maybe Better Love Next Time is one of my favorites of yours, right? That's from 2016-ish, if I remember right, 15, something newer.
2013, it was on the White Album.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
wow, time flies by.
I'm releasing a flash drive. It comes out, I guess, this week. The pre-sales are already in. It's doing really well. And on that drive, there's a new version, a later version of Better Love Next Time on there, because there's a few. It's all my records. There's five studio quality records, and then there's another record. We call it the Party Pack, and in that is 8 brand new songs that no one's heard. I did them in my home studio, so they're not, you know, like usually I do in my home studio. Then you know, when it's time to make a record or something, you know, but it's really expensive to do that, and it's like, what am I, you know, not making any money? Why am I spending all this money on this? Where am I getting the money that I'm spending? You know, and stuff like that. So now I'm just gonna, you know, it sounds good enough. You can hear it if you listen it in your earbuds or earphones on 10, it'll sound great. You know what I mean? But awesome. It's like a brand new record on there, plus a series of demos from that people will know and a couple other ones that no one's heard. And then that one, Better Love Next Time's on there.
That's awesome. Now I want to just touch on that USB, like I'll call it box set for a moment, right? So I think you said it was limited to 100 pieces, if I remember right. And
that's the pre-sale.
Okay.
There's the original Deco Records Party Time 45 record we were getting ready to release before I got out of that label. Those, when I retrack the song, those are useless now. You know what I mean? It's like it's a 45 vinyl record.
Sure.
Now, and on the other side is a song called All My Favorite Things. Okay. And we were going to release that, but we didn't. And so a bunch of them I don't know what happened to a bunch of them, but they had sent me like 100 of them to sign at one point, to sign, autograph them. And so I kept those. And then thank God I did, because I ended up with those, you know. And so those are in, if you buy pre-sale, you buy the Lamb or the flash drive, you get that record, autograph record, and you also get I hate to say it, but a 15-minute Zoom call. And I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of Zooming to do, man.
That's cool.
Be crazy. All the stuff, and plus there's like 40, 50 videos on it. You know, like the new video, those other videos I made in Sakarma, Beautiful Things, all that stuff. And the lamp here, let me show you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank God I got one because they ran out. Now they're making, you have to reprint.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it. This is the flash drive.
Very nice.
You see?
Yep.
So you pull it back, and there's the flash thing that pulls in.
That's very cool.
Well, this is not only your flash drive with all that stuff on it. This is also for. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry, telemarketer.
Not a problem.
This is your laminate for when I'm starting to play concerts. That's your VIP meet and greet, all that stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, so it's also it's a little extra incentive for actually buying the thing and not just copying it off somebody else's. Because
sure,
you know, I mean, that's, if you're a big fan and stuff, that's your ticket to come hang out. You know, it's because we can't do it like we used to. You know, I walk off the stage and I'm just surrounded by people. My anxiety is so bad. It's got to be more organized now. And so that's it. And so, you know, $110, it's a fucking great deal, I think.
You get 5 albums, you get all those bonuses, you get the laminate.
Like 6 albums.
So right, exactly. Because you
also there's a thing called Guilt and Shame. This record I made with my 7-year-old nephew years ago, and it's just inappropriate country shit and
it's hilarious actually.
Sing-alongs.
Huh? It's
hilarious. Really funny. Yeah. You heard some of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Guilt and Shame. Oh, you're a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Well, you get that on there too. You know, it's a little bonus. Awesome. But you know, my sister's putting like popcorn and stuff in the packages and shit. So right. But she wants to make sure we don't make any money.
That's great.
No, I think it's a really good deal and shit. And that gets released the 21st, and the video comes out Friday, the 15th.
So if anybody wants to get the package, the USB package, how do they go about getting that from you?
Go to my website, donnieb.com. All the information's right there. And you'll see advertisement for it everywhere. It's probably, I do believe the promotional is putting it out there, shooting it out there, and you'll see it. And,
nice.
And anything Donnie V, you can follow. You can always, I mean, the police can find me by one trail. You know what I mean? So you can follow the trails. You'll find the breadcrumbs. You'll back to me, and on my website, it's got all the information. You can buy it right there. It's my sister bought one just to see, and it was really easy. It was bam, 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 and you got it.
That's awesome. Now, just going back to the song "Party Time" for a moment. Like you said, it's a single. Will it be part of a bigger release? Like, do you plan on releasing a whole album? I know a lot of artists, like I think about somebody like Wolfgang, right? Van Halen released one song after another for 6 months before putting out an album. What's your plan? Is it a full album or is it just a song?
Full albums aren't practical anymore. You get the same amount of juice out of one song as you do of a whole album. Yep. Now, people don't buy records anymore, so you're not going to get paid for them, you know. And I tried that Pledge Music thing, and they just ripped everybody off and took all the money, fuckers.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And, and so that when we went way into pocket on that one, you know, we had easily made the goal that we were shooting for, easily made it, and then they just disappeared with all the money and stuff and left us holding the bag. Now here we are into the record. The budget for everything, the money was costing. I got players, I got a producer and everything. So we ended up having to pull some wheeling and dealing to, I was out on the street giving hand jobs and shit to get enough money to fucking to pay that record expense, you know. And then we made sure, that's the reason I took that shitty deal, was I was able to buy all of the discs, all the CDs and all the stuff that the fans had pledged for. I was able to buy them myself, and we made sure everybody got their product.
Yep. Now, so you've mentioned that before, even that you've bought back your old catalog, and you know, like you're saying right now, there's not a lot of money in selling music these days. What was so important to you about buying back your old catalog? I could guess what it is, but I'd like to hear from you. What was so important about getting that old catalog back?
Well, number one, I've just I felt like they had just been kidnapped and hoarded out. You know what I mean? And you find them on like eBay for a couple $100 and stuff like that. And people can't find them. They're out of print, this and that. And they got no love. A lot of people would never even know they existed. So I got them back, and I was able to do this with them. And plus you can buy each individual record as far as making a new record, whole new records, it's just not practical. And, you know, and I'm releasing singles right now. And now if there's something happens where it makes it, you know, something that's logical or sensible to do, of course I've got enough songs to do it. I've always got enough songs, you know what I mean? But you're actually getting a new record on this
Sure.
on this record. It's just done in my home studio, you know what I mean? And so it's not terrible. No. It's pretty good. Right. And so plus when you're releasing singles, I'm not necessarily like with Beautiful Things record, I have a lot of songs, but only certain ones fit together on that record. Sure. Now, when you're releasing singles, you know, you're not pigeonholed to any style or production style or anything. And so I could put out a heavy as fuck song and then a ballad or a country song or whatever I want, you know, and basically nobody gives a shit anyway. So
well, I don't think that's true. I definitely don't think that's true. So, you know, I know in recent years, you've been open about not wanting to go on a full-fledged tour. You've done shows right along the way, but just wanted to stay away from maybe some of the demons that have taken place in the past for you. Is there any plans to do shows when things are starting to open up a little bit with the pandemic? Any plans for you to do some shows in the future?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just booking agent and everything. We get all that lined up and get out there and with a great band, so that finally I'll have a band that sounds like the record. And that's really what I want, you know. And I'm planning on doing like a good 3-hour show, you know what I mean? There'll be no opening act or anything, but a 3-hour show is I got all this stuff. Then there's a part in the middle of the show where I got a riser out in the middle of the club or the venue or whatever. And I go out there and play the piano and sing some stuff, you know, just by myself and a couple acoustics, and then bash into something, get back up there. And then I got a whole block of Enough's Enough shit that I got to do. And so, you know, it's been about 7-8 years since I've really performed live in a rock concert with a band. Like I did one show a year and a half ago or something like that, and the band was just thrown together, and it was a nightmare, and I was sick, and it was packed, and people loved it and this and that, but it could have sounded a lot better, you know. I got props just for being there and alive, you know. Right. So I get that, but yeah, I'm putting together something that it'll sound like the record, do it justice, and so I'll enjoy myself more, and so will the audience. And I'm also planning on putting this all-star band. I'm not going to tell who they are yet, just a little all-star gang, and going over to Europe and doing a fast run of Enough's Enough shows. My Enough's Enough, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So let me ask you about that, because I read something online, maybe not true, right? Don't always believe what you read online. That's for damn sure.
But especially about me.
But it said that you actually reclaimed the rights to the name Enough's Enough. Is that true, or is that just not true?
Well, what happened was I was going through a rehab and this and that, and Chip just went on and with his own version of Enough's Enough, and ultimately went and bought the trademark and the name and everything out from underneath me. And I had no knowledge of this. And it was like, I've just got notified that I can't perform. I can't do anything as it. Well, he didn't buy Europe. He only bought the United States. So I got everything else. Bought Japan, England, UK, all that stuff. So yeah, so I figured I'm not out to stop him from doing anything he wants to do. We do not see eye to eye whatsoever on our agendas. You know, I'm all about the fans. It's all that matters to me is pleasing the fans. It's they've given me a reason to live. You know what I mean? So, and that's success to me. Like you were saying, that's successful to me, and to make a difference and stuff. And I haven't seen these fans, and I haven't seen these friends and stuff in over 7 years or so. And I'm jonesing to see everybody. I want to sing. I want to sing those songs again for everybody. You know what I mean? They've you know, they've heard something like that for a bunch of years now, but I figure just for the sake of that poor name, you know what I mean? I gotta get out there. I gotta shine it up a little bit, but yeah, no offense to him. He's doing what he wants to do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get in a van and open up for old hair metal bands and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's that I really believe that Enough's Enough is better than that. You know what I mean? And plus, you don't make any money like that. You're just crammed in something. This guy's farting and shit in the van. It's like you stay in there. It's like cheaply done, and it's like it's not healthy. It's not healthy for your morale. It's not healthy for anything, especially you know, all the demons and stuff that's out there. You know, and I mean, I could find them anywhere if I was looking for them. You know,
of course, right.
I've been done.
Right. I was going to say, there's probably something that's cool about doing that when you're 16, 18, 20 years old. when you're getting a little older, like we all are, right? It's got to be tougher to be traveling in a van, playing small clubs, etc., around the country. That's cool when you're a teenager, maybe not so much when you're an adult.
Yeah, well, we didn't start out that way. We started out immediately, in limousines and shit like that. Immediately,
Mm-hmm.
I was one of my first experiences in music. I was
Sure.
with Enuff's Enough, and we had a big manager with money and stuff. So we never did that. I don't think that riding around in the van with a bunch of guys going on Us Against the World, that's definitely something you would do in the beginning of your.
Sure.
You're not at fucking 60 years old, 57
Yeah.
years old, but I mean, I could see the beauty in doing something like that, just not anymore,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yeah, I'm too old. My hip won't last, my hip.
There you go. I totally understand that. So, but if I'm understanding you properly then, so you own the name Enuff's Enough for everywhere around the world, except for North America, and Chip owns it in North America. So I guess there's a scenario where there could be multiple Enoughs out there touring at this point, right?
I always hated that. And I always, and I hated seeing us go into that, column of bands where there's, it's bad enough there's one of them, there's gonna be two of them. It's bad enough, and there's well, it's not fair to the fans. Fans don't want to see this version without this guy and that guy, and this version without this guy and that guy. But I know they sure would rather see the band with the guy,
Sure.
Right, that sang and wrote the songs. Right. So that's why like I said, I'm not out to prevent him from doing anything. That's his thing, and I just I wanted to be able to do it myself as well. Can make a few bucks and get out, but I want to get out there. I'll be going around as Donnie V band, but just to get out there and do a quick whiz through of just the old Enough's Enough stuff, with some pretty cool surprise players.
No, that sounds exciting. I'll be looking forward to that information coming out. And one of the things I find fascinating is, as much as you and Chip have had that rocky relationship over the years, like you just said, he's playing bass on the new song. You played, I think, what was the name of the song? Strangers in My Head last year with him, right? On the Enough's Enough record. So even though you've had that bumpy relationship, you've still managed to coexist and do some work together in recent years, which for a fan is pretty cool.
Well, when it all boils down to you strip away all that bullshit and everything else, when the guy plugs his bass in, there's nobody like it for power pop and stuff. He's just the best. Hands down, as far as I know of. Right. I've heard a lot of bass players, but if he's willing to do it for me, which I imagine he feels kind of obliged at this point with other shit that he's done. And so if he's going to do it for me, you can't beat the price. I might as well get something out of the deal.
Absolutely. I agree. Now, you've mentioned the whole power pop thing, and you've been very open about, you felt Enough's Enough shouldn't have been marketed as a hair metal band in the late 80s. It should have been more of like a power pop band. So what kind of bands do you think Enough's Enough should have been marketed with, if not hair metal?
Oh, I mean, just, of our own genre, something that's not affected by the time, something like, like Tom Petty and Heartbreakers. That was a pretty good example. They lasted through each phase and each new fad and each new wave, somebody that has their own niche. And I believe that, there was some other elements besides the look and stuff. I had a heavy metal guitar player and some cock rock drummer and stuff. And, and those guys that, if I was already in with that, you take a look at those guys, and there's you can't beat them, join them. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what everybody was doing at that time. And we looked cool and stuff. And who could foresee that? I mean, we came out in 1 month before the 90s, and all of a sudden overnight, it was anything that has to do with that genre of music is taboo, and you're out. You know what I mean? So we got shoveled out with the leaves.
Do you think if you were marketed differently that you could have survived that whole grunge era?
I think for sure we could have. I mean, I was grunge in real life. You know what I mean, I see Nirvana and stuff. Like, that's me every day. Right. You know what I mean? So, and I had to go to do this, and yeah, I think if it would have been, I think the whole thing, I mean, it was good for what it was, and not to take anything away from it, but the whole thing was wrong. The lineup was wrong. Just everything was wrong. Nothing was in place right, and it was a big mess in the beginning. And what do? Do I walk away from, $12 million or $8 million record deal with videos and this and that, and 8 records it was supposed to be, and or stick to my guns, but at that age, I was new. I was a newbie.
Sure.
Chip kind of took fast tracked me into how to simplify things and write my songs differently and stuff like that. And I caught on really quickly. But yeah, like I said, I think the whole thing was wrong, but I know people don't want to hear that. But right now, a Beautiful Things record, I believe that's the best representation of what I do. And I mean, that's me. That's what it is. There's heavier versions, but I get to have the whole vision. The whole vision that I see in my mind, and I let the songs tell me what they want to be.
That makes sense. Now, I've seen online you throw support behind bands like Cinderella, Slaughter, some of those bands from that time period. Is there any bands or artists that have thrown their support behind you over the years that you're like, wow, I'm really surprised that person or that band was into what I do?
Oh shit! I mean, Kiss is one of them. And Paul, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin. I mean, yeah, Cheap Trick. All these guys, all the guys that I looked up to. I mean, to be acknowledged by those guys and mentioned in in interviews and things, that's really, really unbelievable. But then again, they're just people like us, what I mean? But they recognize that. And we were always like the band's band, we weren't super famous, but all the big bands and the Integrity and stuff always loved us and appreciated the songs and like my vocals.
Right. Yeah. I remember at one point, because I've been on a few of the Kiss cruises, and Paul Stanley's son was on the Kiss cruise one year, and him saying something like Baby Loves You was one of his all-time favorite songs. And I'm like, this kid's only like 20 something years old. Where is he hearing this from? But I'm guessing it probably came from his father. And I thought that was kind of cool that it transcended into it. A younger generation could point to a song like that and say, that's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Well, it's simple enough. It's saying Beating in India, baby loves you, baby loves you. It's not one that I look back on as they had a lot of musical integrity or anything, but I can appreciate it for what people appreciate about it. And and it's one of my babies, and I'll be probably doing that till I'm 90, however old I make it. I say, baby loves you.
All the fans like it, right? So you got to do that.
That's what there's a lot of songs that I would always be like, I'd be talking, doing an interview or something, or a fan or something, and they would mention some song, that I think is this shit on my list. I mean? Like, and then I would say that, and the guy, they'd be like, that's my favorite song. You just knocked it and slanged it. And so I can't do that. And I got to appreciate everything for what it is. I was young.
Sure. Now, the first time I saw the band, if I remember right, it was 1991, opening up for Nelson. What do you remember about that tour?
Well, I remember a lot about it. It was in the contract. I wasn't allowed to party.
Oh, wow.
It was in the contract to get the tour. They didn't say anything about anybody else but me.
But
and they took us out because they really liked the band. They wanted cool lessons. They wanted me to give them cool lessons. So
that's funny.
It was great though, because it was a summer. We were just looking to get placed on something, and they snatched us up because it was all outdoor sheds and arenas and stuff. And so, I figured, let's go blow Nelson away every night. Let's do that. You know what I mean? And but there's a lot of really young girls there. It was crazy.
Yes.
it got very Beatlesque at times.
Yep. And that's the way an open act should always think, right?
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, Nelson.
I'm
just kidding.
Look, to me, every opening act, I don't care who you are and who you're playing before. If you're playing before the Beatles, you should be thinking, I'm going to blow them off the stage, right? If you're playing before Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones, your thought process should always be, I'm going to blow that band off the stage. Because if you're not thinking like that, in my opinion, you shouldn't be on the stage. Exactly.
And as far as integrity and players wise and this and that, I think that we were a contender for any band that we played with. Of course, the main band will have more volume, the more full light show and all of that shit. And that's, people just see that and they just, it's an illusion, but often we were told, these guys just killed those guys, that's because we had to work harder. You were right there in the regular lights and shit, and no drums are on the stage, and it's costing me my hearing. But yeah, we had to work harder, and we always knew, like Chip and I always knew before we went on stage, this will go well. We're going to do fine. It's going to be a good show. We were very confident about it.
Right. Now, I think one of the things I love is, like I said before, you're always saying that, enough's enough, and your music is really more of like power pop. And I think it was last year, if I got my timeline right, you covered Taylor Swift, "Shake It Off," which I just like. To me, that's like, all right, you're putting your money where your mouth is. Talk about going into the pop world. So first question is, are you a Taylor Swift fan? And what do you think looking back at that recording?
Taylor Swift is super talented, pretty little girl, you know what I mean? And I remember when she first came out and stuff, she's worked very hard and battled the odds. And I mean, I don't really follow all her music and anything like that, but what I've heard, I think is great, and I think she's great, and she's a star, you know. I mean, a real star. There's a lot of people I don't think are stars, you know, but she is, and that was a dare. I was dared to do that by my former manager. We were doing a contest for other people covering my shit. You know what I mean? So they were talking about. I said, all right, well, they're like, well, let's see you cover somebody's shit, and I do all the time. I got St. Joe County Dope Horse thing. That's all we do is that stuff. I haven't done any in a while, but I was like, all right, well, what do you want me? Something current and hip. I said, well, like what? And he goes, how about Taylor Swift? I go, you're kidding me. I didn't really know a lot of songs, but I asked the fans. I made a post of which one should I go for, and that was the general consensus was "Shake It Off." And then I heard the song and I was like, I could see me doing this song, you know. I mean, so if it weren't for her version, that's the one everybody knows, and it's fantastic. You know, my version, I think I did all right job with it. If it's for a cover song, it's a little embarrassing, but
nice. Yeah, I think it's cool because even growing up in the 80s, yes, I listened to the hair metal. Yes, I listened to the hard rock. In the 80s, I got into the Sex Pistols and the Ramones. But I also listened to Madonna, Survivor. And my friends are like, how can you listen to the Sex Pistols and then 10 minutes later Madonna? I don't get it. And to me, a good song is just a good song. So when you were covering, exactly. So to me, a good song, a good hook that's all that matters. So to me, you covering Taylor Swift, and whether it's Taylor Swift, the Beatles, you've covered Prince, Elton John, right? To me, I'm like, and you do them all convincingly, and others, right? I'm just naming a few here. You do them all so convincingly, especially John Lennon and the Beatles stuff that you do is incredible, right? So, but that's, I think, one of the great things about your talents is that you're able to cover all those different types of artists and make it almost like your own, but make it a really, really great version.
Well, do the best I can. You know, usually those covers, in the old days, they were always, sprung on me, you know what I mean? Like, what? We got to do what? For what? Right. For what is it for? This and that. And so, you know, some of them I didn't really familiar with. I didn't know the songs. And like we did a Cheap Trick one. And later on, once I knew the song after we had released, I was like, that was a terrible version that we did of that. I didn't know the song. I like to make it my own. When I do something, I want to make it my own. And it's enough that wasn't necessarily what happened. You know, it's I was trying to do their thing, and
Okay. Now I think a couple of months back, the Enough's Enough put out a box set. Were you involved in that at all?
I'm all over it.
Okay.
I wrote all the songs and sang all the songs on it and playing the guitar on it all. I would imagine I'm pretty over it. And there's pictures of me plastered all over the thing. So that's the Cleopatra deal we did. We leased, the licensed the entire Enough's Enough catalog, except for the very first two records. Those aren't those. We don't get those back till next year. Then we own those records again.
Okay, nice.
Those are ones that make the money, you know. And, what were you saying? What was I saying?
I was just asking if you were involved with putting. No, that's all right. I was asking if you were involved in putting out the box set.
No, it isn't. I didn't even know that was part of the deal. I didn't. Yeah, that's how well the contract was represented to me. I didn't even know those were part of the deal. When I heard box set, I thought box set of all the records. Right. You know, it was the catalog coming out of a box set. I didn't know it was all those songs. You know, and if I didn't put something on a record, there was a reason why I thought it shouldn't have gone on a record. Sure. You know, I mean, if something's not finished about them, something's not quite right about them. They're not better than the other ones or whatever. They, you know, something not right about them. And so that box set is a collection of all of my early demos and our early demos, you know, but
Sure.
yeah, I'm all over it. I'm singing and writing it and playing
course,
on it.
yeah.
And my pictures are all over it. I would imagine that qualifies as me being all over it.
I think so, without a
Yeah.
doubt. Now, also, some fans don't realize this, that Jakey Lee actually played with Enuff's Enough for a brief period of time, recorded some songs with you guys. How did that come about?
Well, it was, I'd been out of the band for quite a while. And the first time that I was out of the band, and Chip was doing what he's doing now, you know, with a lineup and stuff. And so they, after like, I think it was like 6 years I'd been out, and I got approached for VH1 wanted us to do a reunion and a show. I forget what the name of the show was. So I agreed to do that. And during that time, somebody came up with the idea where they were going to fund a new Enuff's Enough record. So I would come back with Enuff's Enough and make a new record. It started out pretty fucked up, and it was a shady deal, and I didn't like most of what was going on. And so I left, and they were getting ready to release all that garbage as a record. And you know, I found that's what people are going to think that I have to offer after all that time out. So it just got some new inspiration, and I wrote all of the good songs for Dissonance record. I wrote them all in a couple of weeks, and went back there by myself. And me and Vinny Castaldo tracked all those songs, you know. And Jakey Lee was a real good buddy of Vinny's, and he would hang out the studio all the time. Just come on up there, you know, play amps up there, just hang out and see what he's doing. And Jake, we had that was one of our first second national tour was with Badlands. So you know, I knew him, slightly knew him, and we got to be really good friends there. And just one thing led to another, and Vinny got him to play some stuff on a song here and there. And so once he did that, I was like, dude, you got to do all these. It sounds great. You got to basically recaptured my guitar parts and did them right, you know, and sounded really good. And yeah, it was great. Jakey Lee's, I never even knew how great a player he was until you know, I kind of experienced that. I didn't follow him before. You know what I mean? And like Badlands isn't necessarily my bag of what I would sit and listen to, although I don't sit and listen to anything. But yeah, I couldn't believe what an amazing player he was, and he really brought the guitar section to life on that record.
Yeah. Was there ever any talk of him being part of the band, or was it just a recording thing?
No, he would never be part of Enuff's Enough. You know what I mean? It's yeah, once he was going to come back and do something, it had to be a Jakey Lee project. I actually was considered and asked if I wanted to sing for his thing. Oh, wow. You know, that Cartel or whatever it was. I was asked to, you know, and just coming in and redoing the vocals on some stuff. And it's like, it's not my bag. And if I'm going to sing on your record, you get me for other reasons than just come in and sing cock rock shit. You get me for what I add to it melodically, sensibly, you know, the lyrically, just revamping all the stuff. And that's what I told him. I said, if I'm going to do it, you know, I'm going to rewrite these songs. You know what I mean? And that's just the way I roll. And obviously that didn't, you know, but that was the only way I would do it. And so I didn't do it, needless to say. And then once I heard the record afterwards, it was a smart move.
No, it just wasn't what you were into, I guess.
No, it's great. I'm not taking anything away from it. I think it's great, but he got a guy more suited for it than me. I'm the last guy who should be singing some of that stuff, you know?
No, you know, you're honest with yourself, and you know what you should be doing. So that's great. Now, you mentioned that, you know, at that time, it was a little bit like for a TV show, for a reunion for Enuff's Enough. Is it something that you'd ever consider if there was something presented to you and Chip to do another reunion type tour, or do you think that ship has sailed at this point?
If something happened where that was made logical sense to do, you know what I mean? Like financial, or for something happened and there was something caught on or something like that, and where it would make sense. Yeah, of course I'd do it if it made, but not for any other reason than that. You know, that's a bridge I'd cross if it was worth crossing at crossing time. You know what I mean? So I never say never with anything, but I don't know. I'm right now at this time, I have a hard time imagining that, but.
Yeah, well, and you got your new song coming out and you're looking to promote that. So I totally understand that. And also in the last year, you've been working with Howard Stern, who's been a big supporter of yours, right? So talk about that experience working with Howard on a song.
They threw me a bone over there. Howard wrote some cheesy song. It was, I don't want to, I mean, it was just, you know, kind of like a guilt and shame song, you know, it was very highly inappropriate and, you know, it's something, you know, sex, and it's very Howard. And so they sent it to me, and they asked, I guess they sent it maybe a couple of people and asked if we would be interested in doing my own rendition of it, you know what I mean? And so I, you know, listen to it. I'm like, what am I going to do to this song? It's, you know, it's, have you heard it?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. So, but when I got to every time I'd finish a verse, this chorus idea kept popping into my head. This, and all of a sudden then I was able to, the way I sang those lyrics on the verses and stuff, and how the way I phrased it, it actually, if you don't listen really closely to the lyrics, you can't tell it's a cheesy, it sounds like a good pop song, you know what I mean? That chorus and everything, I guess they're not really into pushing it that much, but I got a little bit of love on the air and stuff. And I appreciate them so much for thinking of me, and any crumbs they can throw, you know, I'll be happy to take them.
And I know I've heard on Howard's show him, you know, really talk about you as one of the greatest voices he's ever heard. He says you do the best John Lennon. So, you know, that's probably nice to have somebody like that in your corner. And I think back to the beginning of your career with Enuff's Enough, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Doc McGee played a part in finding the band, right? Who at the time, Doc McGee was involved with Poison and Motley Crue. So you've had some big name support behind you over the years, right?
Yeah, that Doc took over as when we were ready to put our first record out. We had just fired our manager, and so we had no manager, and the label was like, you know, you guys, we're going to be big. We need a good guy and stuff. So Derek Shulman, the president, he lined up Doc McGee, and Doc was into it, and we had dinner and we discussed some things, and then Doc had all of a sudden all this shit came on where he was going to Russia or some of this shit with those bands and things. And he took on a bunch of other artists, and he couldn't take it. So he passed it over to his buddy, Herbie Herbert, who is the guy that managed Journey and Mr. Big. I mean, a lot of bands. Herbie's brilliant. You know, he was semi-retired when he took us on, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of other things that go along with that, but Herbie's brilliant, and I have so much respect for him. And I wish I could get a second chance at a first impression with him. You know, it was not my better days, you know?
Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, with support from Doc, who was one of the biggest managers of the time, and even still to this day, support from Howard Stern, what do you think has held you back from becoming, I'll say, a mega superstar the way maybe with that type of support you would expect to happen?
Myself. Basically, that's the answer. What's held me back is myself. You know, I have a lot of issues. I've had a lot of issues throughout the years. That wasn't my I can't think today. That wasn't my main objective, was to be a big, rich, famous star. You know, I was an artist, and that's where I feel comfortable, you know, in writing and recording and stuff, like in great big groups of people and stuff. I'm not comfortable at all, you know. And I'm in the middle of the thing, and they're all, you know, so I did a lot of self-medicating and shit like that. But I look at it as, this is what my story was intended to be. This is, you know, that wasn't what my story was intended to be, you know what I mean? And so who's to argue with that? You know, this is, no matter what you try to do, your story is going to be, it's like, you know, you got this movie, a DVD, you pop it in, no matter what you think or you want to happen, it's going to still be that movie. You know what I mean? And so that's what happened. I think I was able to connect on a much higher level with maybe a smaller group of people, but like really connect, where people have told me that something or this has saved their life. You know, I mean, how you put a price tag on that shit? And plus, if that would have happened, especially in those days, I would have been dead right away. You know what I mean? With unlimited resources and nobody could tell me what the fuck to do. And, you know, I almost did it as it was, you know, I almost did it under the circumstances that it was, but yeah, it just wasn't, that's not the way it was supposed to go, you know? And you know, I have problems dealing with that sometimes, and I'm good with it now.
Right.
You know, I'm good with it.
Right. Well, you said that, you've had fans tell you, hey, this song saved my life. And you have been very involved with, anti-bullying campaign and anti-suicide stuff, which to me, in some ways is far more important than having a number one album or number one song, because now you're really touching and helping people who need help. Has that been something that's important to you to be involved in?
That's all that's important to me to be involved in, is something that at the end of the day, because you existed, was the world a better place or not a better place, or a worse place? You know what I mean? And I'd like to go out thinking that I made a positive difference for as many things as I could. That's the only reason that that I have any issues with not being a bigger and more famous than I am, is because I can't reach more people. I want to reach more people. I know it sounds cliche, but for me, that's really the truth. That's what it is. I love connecting with these people. I love them. What they do for me, what I do for them, they do for me too. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. And so I will never let you down.
No, I mean, that's to me something that is, like I said, far more important than a number one album or a number one song. And yes, of course, you always want to help more people, but not as much, to me, not as much people in your position get involved in those kind of things as they should. And to me, just knowing that you do get involved in that, and even if you help and save one person, well, that's one person, you made a tremendous impact on their life. And to me, that's worth more than any album.
You can't put any money in the world on that price tag on that. And and it's just there's right and there's wrong. There's selfish, or you can be selfless or selfish. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, that's these guys that make it so big and stuff. A lot of times that's what their priority is. And, I don't need much, I don't care if whatever I've had big places and stuff like that. I'm still stay in this one little area, where I do my recording and kicking back, and it's like my cocoon. So I don't need much, you know what I mean? Right. And so as long as I'm, don't have to worry, I'm good there, you know what I mean? And, I mean, there's no better feeling than knowing that you did something and you affected somebody positively. Not there's a lot of guys that'll do things, charity and stuff, because of the way it makes them look. Yep. You know what I mean? And you don't even do that for people if it's all for the way it makes you look. Well, I guess don't count it millions of dollars and stuff, but yeah. I don't think that's a reason for kindness and compassion and generosity. Is it's, if you don't even have any money, you can, you do like I do and just give what I can do to it. You know what I mean? And yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Now, on a personal side, how has your health been? I know obviously you've had some health issues in the past. I think your pancreas you've had issues with. So how's your health been?
Yeah, my pancreas melted.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's put it this way: for what I've done and how much love I've shown my body through all those years, I'm still here, man. As far as I'm concerned, I feel fine. I'm losing a little bit of my faculties upstairs. My anxiety is crippling sometimes, and comes with that little bit of manic depression and stuff. But I have some issues with my nerves and my neck and stuff. So things like a hand will all of a sudden lose out strength for 6 months or something. So that's something that bothers me. And I've been chain smoking cigarettes since you were a kid. You know what I mean? So I'm curious about that. I've been thinking about it's probably time to get a physical and get checked over and stuff. But I'm fine.
Well, that's good news. I'm glad to hear that you're okay. Like you started off saying here, the new song's Party Time, released this week, video coming on Friday. I know online you've alluded to some more surprises coming. Anything that you could share with us today, or do you want to hold that back still?
I think I've shared quite a bit.
I think you have as well.
I hope anybody doesn't take anything I said offensively. That's about everything that's going on right now. Okay. I'm not able to think ahead that far, and then I get overwhelmed very easily. So like they tell me, all right, my interview is today at 3. There's another one at this time. They'll have them telling me again when the next one is, like 15 minutes before. So I remember, so I'll forget it. I can't, my mind is going, but yeah, that's there's not a whole hell of a lot I don't think that we covered right now.
Yeah,
we'll see. The world is full of surprises. Life is full of surprises. Hopefully there'll be good ones.
It sure is. And Donnie, I was open with you. I know family members who have anxiety. You've mentioned that a few times for yourself. Obviously I appreciate you being very open and honest today with everything. I wish you tremendous success with the new song and the new video. Hopefully you can play some shows coming up in the next year. I'll look forward to seeing who's going to be part of the band. Right. And I just hope that you continue to have good health. And I know you said you hope nobody gets annoyed or mad at some of the things you said to me. You've been nothing but open, honest, respectful, kind. And I can't imagine people being upset with anything that you've said today.
Well, I mean, in all reality, I don't give a fuck, but some people, for the ones that do worry about that shit,
I love it. I love it. Anything else you want your fans to know before we wrap up here?
Just thank you. Anything I can ever do for you, let me know, and what you've done, same thing you've done for me. And, if you can show, help somebody else's suffering. If you see a suffering in somebody, the smallest little thing, and you can maybe stop somebody's suffering in some capacity, do that. You know what I mean? And if everybody can just do that a little bit, I think it would change things at least a little bit. There's nothing changing for the better, but just be helpful, be connected.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Donnie. I appreciate it. Take it easy and be well and be good.
All right, I'll get your kiss for the fans.
There you go.
All right,
for all
buddy.
the fans. Take it easy, Donnie. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Alrighty, there you have it. I'd like to thank Donnie for taking some time out talking all about his new single Party Time, as well as what he has in plan and in store for his fans in the days and months to come. Thanks a lot, Donnie. I also appreciated him taking some time out to talk all about the good old days with Enuff's Enough. Also, I just want to wish Donnie much happiness and health in the days, months, and years to come. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.